welcome to the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I'm Matt Mercer, instructor for the Pathfinder School and the founder of the Black Hat Bushcraft channel right here on YouTube. And this afternoon I've come out to a local waterway here to set up and do some fishing and do some cooking and have a delicious lunch. And of course, I'll be using yet again another subscriber submitted recipe, which means somebody, one of you guys, will of course be receiving a free care package from Reliance Outfitters with all of the gear that I use today. And today I actually am using a new piece of gear that I received in the past week from Reliance Outfitters, and that is the new Canteen Accessory Kit, which is basically a canteen cup, a stove, and a lid. But it really extends the capability of a canteen cooking kit, which you'll see today. And we're gonna revisit an old idea from season 1. We're gonna cook up a delicious breakfast right here on the water's edge, hopefully catch us some fish and just have a good time. So I hope you guys will stick with me for the show. It's gonna be a good one. Let's get started. All right, so before we get going, I wanted to take just a minute to show you how I have this canteen kit set up today. And I'm using, once again, this Pathfinder Molly canteen bag, and this perfectly fits the set. And inside, you can see here, I've got my brand new cup, which came from this accessory kit here. You can see you get a new cup, you get the stove stand and a lid with that. And what I've done is just put that together with my canteen. It's on top of the canteen, and in the base of the bag I have my cup that has the butterfly handle. So we have a full set here that all nest together. And this one has the old school handle. And honestly, I've always liked this style best. And the reason I like this is probably because when I was a kid, I had an original World War II version of this that was an actual military issue, and it's what I learned to cook in, and I've always loved it. Now, what I really like about this SRO model of this cup is the fact that they've added these D-rings here onto the handle, which allows you to take a green stick and just cut it to fit up in these loops. And now I can extend this cup way out over a fire or prop it on a pot crane, and it just gives you a little bit more versatility when you go to cook with this. But everything you need just fits right down in this bag, and this kit really extends your capability, as you'll see today with the way we cook. So with all that, let's get started on cooking up a delicious recipe, and we're gonna have breakfast for lunch. So it's that exciting time in the show where we announce today's winner, and of course the winner of free gear from Reliance Outfitters, and that is Sean Webster. Congratulations, Sean, for your submission of a summer sausage breakfast skillet recipe. And I'm definitely looking forward to this one today because I do love breakfast food and I really enjoy summer sausage. I think it's a great ingredient for camping and for being in the field or in the woods, because when it's packed originally in its sealed up pack, it doesn't have to be refrigerated, and that's very convenient in a lot of situations. So today we're going to be using some summer sausage, cooking up some eggs, some peppers, potatoes, onions, lots of seasoning of course, and it's going to be a great recipe. Let's get started cooking right now. All right, so as always, the first thing we have to do is a little food prep, and we'll start with this potato. We have a russet potato here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to dice this thing up. I'm not even going to peel it today, because last time I peeled the potato and somebody asked me why I peeled the potato, and so I figured today I'm going to make somebody else happy by not peeling the potato. And I'm completely good with that. I aim to please here on Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. And I'm loving this brand new large size cutting board. It's perfect for a setting like this where I have conveyance. If you're tailgating and things like that, this thing is awesome to have. Anyhow, I think that's more the potato than I'm going to need for this dish. I'm going to put the rest of that away. And what we'll do with the potato is just put it here in this canteen cup. All right, so we got our potatoes in the cup. Let's prep the onion. So the one problem with some of these recipes is I often don't cook the entire recipe because it's just me out here. And some of these recipes are made for 2 people or more. So just keep that in mind, that you can always upsize or downsize these recipes depending on your needs for it. I think that's going to be plenty. Just cross cut that here. We're going to get those cooked in the cup, caramelized down with our potatoes. We're going to cook them in bacon grease. Onions caramelized in bacon grease with potatoes. That's good enough right by itself. All right. There's our onions. I'm going to just rake those off into our cup here. All right, so we have a beautiful red pepper here for this dish today, and I love red peppers. I really like the orange and the yellows, and I love the greens too. Those orange and yellows and reds, they just have a really nice flavor to them. So we're going to just cut the core right out of this thing here. Just like that. Hopefully we can, yep, there we go. Got most of the seeds. A few of them fell off in there, but we're good now. So again, this is one of those situations where I just don't need that whole big pepper for the dish I'm cooking. So we're just going to use a portion of it. And the rest of it I take back home with me and use it in something else in the next day or two. What I'm going to do is cut this into some small strips. And that is so beautiful. And then just a beautiful pepper. Looks so nice. And what I'm going to do is cross cut that stuff just to make it smaller so it cooks up and blends into our dish a little bit better. That is so good. I could eat that raw. All right, so once again, I'm going to get this down in our cup. All right, so our last ingredient in the process here is just a big chunk of summer sausage. And I really enjoy using summer sausage in recipes like this. Again, when it's packed in its original container, it doesn't need to be refrigerated, which is very, very convenient when you're in the field like this. Now, of course, when you have fresh veggies and stuff like that, like I'm using today, another sample there, of course, they don't have to be refrigerated either. So this is really, again, convenient ingredients to work with for a day outing like this. All right, so we got lots of that there. I may even have a little extra. Let's get our stove set up. I just have a simple ISO Pro stove here. All right, we have our fuel canister here. Good. All right, so I've got all my summer sausage collected up here on my stainless plate, and I have all my veggies packed here in this canteen cup. And we're actually going to be cooking in this cup, and I purposely did it this way. So what I'm going to do is I have some bacon up, which is just bacon grease, and I'm going to put that down in the bottom of our canteen cup, and then I'm going to add my veggies on top of that. That's gonna make for some good cooking right there. Anytime we can add a bunch of bacon grease into the pan, you know that's adding a lot of flavor in there. All right, so we've got that down in here, and now I'm just gonna add all those veggies back in that need to be cooked up. And I figure between the potatoes, the onions, peppers, they all are gonna cook about the same, give or take. I'm gonna cook them down, and that's gonna be some kind of good. All right, so I cut myself a little branch here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of these rings on this canteen cup handle. A lot of times when you're cooking on a stove like this handle can get quite hot on this type of cup. And so this will give me an extension so I don't burn myself. And it does make the cup a little bit heavy to the backside, so I'm just using my canteen as a prop here. All right, so that's how we'll be cooking. We just need to get our stove fired up now, which is very easy to do. Yep, good to go. And we're gonna try to cook slow. That should be perfect, just like that. already got sizzling. That's one thing when you're cooking on an ISO Pro stove like this in a canteen cup, it doesn't take long for it to start sizzling. You do have to keep that stuff moving to keep from burning down there, especially with those potatoes, those starchy potatoes. They'll burn to the bottom pretty quick, so we'll keep this moving. Threw a piece out. Smells delicious. I'll tell you what, anytime you're cooking peppers and onions, that always smells delicious and it gets the appetite going. All right, so I have another ingredient here that we need to add, and that is some of these mushrooms. This is not something I really had to process. Just gonna add a few of them in from this can. You gotta get that stuff mixed up in there good. All right, and we have some spices that we need to add in as well. We're gonna be adding in some Montreal steak seasoning. Just this one here. And just add a good bit of that in. Lots of flavor going in with that. All right, and we're gonna add some Old Bay seasoning as well. I love Old Bay seasoning. And we can always add more of that as the dish gets ready. I'm really glad I added this wooden handle here because I can feel the heat coming off of that stove, and I imagine I'd be burning my hand trying to hold this thing. So that's a really, really nice feature about this. This stuff is really starting to cook down well. It smells amazing, looks really good. I can't wait to finish this up and eat. All right, so I think our veggies are well cooked down and we're ready to add our summer sausage in the mix here. So we're gonna just get this stuff in there and brown it up a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to working with our eggs. I'm gonna just mix this stuff in really good, get everything assimilated, let them flavors mix up. There's gonna be a lot of flavor in this right here. I cannot wait. This food's gonna look so good, you guys are gonna have to pause the video and go in the kitchen and find something to eat while you watch it. And everything is looking really good. I think this stuff's cooked up pretty good. And so what we're gonna do now is take our other cup and we're gonna fill it up with water. We're gonna just set this off to the side for a minute. We're gonna put this cup here on the fire. Actually, I'm gonna fill it up with water before I put it on the fire. Just like that. And we're gonna put that on our stove and bring it to a boil. And that is gonna become a double boiler so that we can add eggs into this cup. If we were to just put eggs in here directly on that burner, we would burn it up. But if we use this cup here as a double boiler, just like this, then we'll have a system that we can cook something as delicate as eggs in with no burning. All right, once this water starts to boil here, then we'll proceed to the next step. All right, so I just have my little Swedish kuksa cup here, and I'm gonna crack a couple of eggs into that. We'll get those scrambled up in the cup. All right, so we got our eggs here, and we're just gonna scramble those guys up. All right, so let's take a look and see. This water's just starting to roll a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is take my second canteen cup and just prop it right here like this. So what that's given us now is a double boiler system, which is a much more gentle heat. And so what we're gonna do is add our eggs in the mix. That we're going to put our lid back on, and hopefully in a few minutes we're going to have a nice meal. since I've been casting the lure out, fishing and all. And so every once in a while I've just taken a look at it, and I think we're good. Those eggs are pretty much solidified. A lot of that bacon grease has kind of come to the top, but I think everything's good. I think we can turn off the stove now, let this cool down just a little bit, and we're gonna serve this thing up. All right, you guys know what it's time for. That official meal reveal. Oh man, look at all them scrambled eggs with that summer sausage, those potatoes, caramelized onions and peppers, little mushroom and a bunch of seasoning, cooked in bacon grease no less. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I snuck a taste and it is fantastic. This is a loaded scramble that is fit for a king, and I cannot wait. All right, so after a lot of prep work and a lot of cooking, I'm definitely ready to eat. But of course, before I eat any meal, I want to take just a minute to give thanks. All right, well, time for the official taste test. Tastes exactly like you would expect it, with that smoky summer sausage, a little hint of bacon in there from the bacon grease, onions, peppers, all that flavor. It's just fabulous. And just a ton of flavor in that. It's not necessarily the prettiest meal when you cook it like this. The eggs look a little crumbly, but the texture is great and everything is cooked just to perfection, really. So the nice thing about using a double boiler system like this is it allows you to cook something like eggs in a canteen cup, where if you were to put that directly on that stove, it would char those eggs really bad. But doing the double boiler, while it does take a bit more fuel and it takes a bit more time to get them cooked, they do cook up to perfection. These are nice and fluffy, even though they're a little bit kind of crumbly in here. It's just where I mixed it while it was cooking, and the texture is fantastic though. And this is really a good combination of flavors with the onion and the pepper, a little bit of mushroom in there. And this is also one of those recipes that you could easily customize to be what you want it to be. Maybe you don't like mushrooms, you can leave those out, or you don't like onions, you can leave those out. You could add in things that you like as well. Actually, I'm going to add just a little bit more of this Old Bay seasoning and just a touch more of this steak seasoning as well. It's an interesting addition there with those seasonings. They're not what I would have picked probably if I were making up this recipe, but it's really good. I like it. You did good, Sean. You did good. Now, Sean also mentions in his description of this recipe that this could be used to make a sandwich with. I'm sure if you were to cook the egg maybe in a pan versus a canteen cup, it would be a lot easier to do that, to make it in such a way that you could make a sandwich out of it. I think it would make a good open face sandwich. Lay a piece of bread down and then top it with this. That'd be really good. And of course, this could have been a lot easier if I'd have just cooked it in a skillet, but I wanted to challenge myself to do it a little bit different with the canteen cups today, and also share the idea of using 2 canteen cups to make a double boiler like that. It's not something you see a whole lot, so maybe give somebody a new idea of something to try, a different way to use your gear. And of course, as a camp cook, the more versatile you are, the more ways you can cook, the more different kit that you use, the more you learn about cooking, and the better off you are, the better you get at this cooking in the field and improvising with what you got. This is definitely a clean your plate meal. So I realized I was being pretty rude to you guys, and I haven't offered you your taste yet. Look at there, some red bell pepper, a little bit of summer sausage, big chunk of egg for you. Look at that. Get it? I wish you guys could. All right, well, I'm not gonna keep eating this delicious food in front of you guys. Hopefully you're at home, maybe you're eating a meal or having a snack right now. If I knew that, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But I do want to take just a minute to say thank you to you guys for tuning in to these videos. We appreciate your interest and your support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy the show, and make sure you're subscribed to the Self-Reliance Outfitters YouTube channel. Click that subscribe down below. It's free, and that way you'll stay involved with our channel and when we have new videos come up. And don't forget, if you have a delicious recipe, make sure to submit it to that email address at the bottom of your screen, and that'll get your name and your recipe entered into our data bank of recipes that I pull from each time I come out to film a new episode of our show. So from all of us at Self-Reliance Outfitters, we appreciate you guys, and we look forward to coming back at you in a couple of weeks with the next episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. Until then, y'all take care and be safe. I've got a plate to clean. Y'all know I hate to brag on my own cooking, but darn, that's good. I'll give the credit to Sean for a good recipe.